That sucks. Oh, I know. Yeah, I was surprised you were here. Uh, this is should be working. Well, if it's left on, the batteries are dead, then it's not gonna work. But yeah, you just click through. I can get a new battery. Do it here, right? Ah. Oh wait, here. No.
It's working.
Okay.
It's behind.
Here you go.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, so we don't need to talk about the due call list, right? Do you see it on every session?
You don't have to go in that.
Okay. It's on every session. Yeah, okay. All right. Cool. They're pretty much into not doing any kind of like, which I don't like the fact that it says you can't do drop messages, I guess, that are recorded sometimes. And anyway, so we'll take it from there. I might as well just sit here and go with just you and me, right? Really silly to stand here doing this, but it's okay. So tell me about your experience so far. Have you been to all the time classes? All the two, and how it's been? Oh, absolutely. It's been a lot of that. So it's better than to start with. If all we ever work on, you never have to worry about anything else because it will all come together. Totally. So while leads are vital to your sales business, seller listings are critical to your ability to build to its highest level. And why do you think that is? Lowest cost and highest net. Congratulations. We never gonna want to see a buyer like that. Right. All right, we will go through this. So I started being a listing agent the second I got into business. Now I was licensed for a year in Connecticut. But as soon as I discovered that sellers right out, yeah. So I would say, and I tell every agent, start your business by working with sellers. And if you do that, you'll never have to buy a lead. You'll never have to worry about any kind of leads ever coming because they always will if you have sellers. Right. Buyers are constant grind to try to find them and work with them. So qualified sellers are ready and willing to do business in the next 14 days. That means that probably, I would kind of disagree with this a little bit because qualified sellers are going to qualify probably in the first 14 days after you meet with them, but you also should develop a pipeline so that you know that in 14 days people are ready to do something, 30 days to have these people. And as we know, it's kind of hard to get somebody in the house these days. That's competition system. In terms of writing offers. You sold me house again? No. The thing you're going to discover in working with buyers is whenever you're working with them, it's going to take a while to get them into the house. Sellers, Depends on where they are in the process. If you go into the house and it needs a lot of work, I've got one that I'm putting on the market today that I started working on last August. And as we got, and this was a listing process, we realized the house had mold, and it was just one thing after another. So finally, that was August. So yeah, that maybe by now it's 9 months later, we're putting it on the market. But most sellers would usually be ready to go on. I would say 14 to 30 days. So the 3 L's of the MREA are listings, well, leads, listings, and leverage. So leads are, of course, you've been talking about because you've been in the lead generation process, etc. Listings create leverage for you, and we're going to talk about how that is and how that's going to make your life so much easier when you're working with sellers. So the virtues of seller listings. I don't know. So sellers need marketing opportunities. You have more control over your time. Seller listings maximize your per hour compensation. Volume. With seller listings, you are on the forefront of pricing, and properly marketed seller listings bring you more business. And that is all true, exclamation point times 10. So let me get back here. Let me go back to the other screen because I really want to talk about this for a second. This is so important. So how do they need marketing opportunities to sell it? What does that bring to you?
Well, I would say because people reaching out to you. If you're marketing a listing, so you're gonna have buyers that are reaching out to you. Those things such as these.
Absolutely, and they're calling you. How great is that?
Yeah.
They're calling you. And whenever you have listings, that's exactly what will happen. The other thing is listings beget other listings. So if you have a house listed and you work that neighborhood really hard through your open houses and your door knocks, your circle prospecting, it will bring you more listings. So if you have a listing usually should theoretically national average being 3 buyers that buy. So just think about that. You get one listing, that's the deal. Then you have the buyers that come in, do your advertising, your marketing, your door knocking, your average generation on the listing, so much easier than with a listing. So it's really a fantastic opportunity. You have more control over time because just think about this. When you're working with the buyer, first of all, they expect you to get confident. If they're going to call you and say, I don't really like this house, or you're going to call them and say, I just did a consult on Sunday and I said, hey, you guys, they're Columbus. You've got to be ready to come on the same day. So the price is all we do. So whenever you're ready to buy, you have to be ready to go. That means we have to be ready to go at clear and any given time something comes up. Listings, no. We have your listings, so you can kind of after you do all that initial work, sit back and not relax, but definitely not be out there every single day doing things. Because once you get it all set up and you're good to go, you're good to go. And then all of those other agents, because we have about 5,000 agents in all that, those become your sales force. Think about it. You know, you put it out there, all of a sudden they are your sales force. And if you're not selling for these, it's a certain price. You're 100%. That's it. Selling listings maximize your per hour compensation. They really do. I mean, we worked with an agent who was trying to figure out her compensation a couple of weeks ago, where this thing we were working on for compensation per hour is about $450. Where else can you make that money? I mean, as an attorney, you can't bill it. So whenever you're working with listings and you keep track of how much time you're actually investing in this, how much time you actually get back for it, so you divide that time, it's probably $200 an hour for almost everybody. So just think if you had 5 listings versus 5 buyers, how much more time you would have for yourself. volume is really critical because we can't live on almost a year, you can't live on one buyer here. So volume does increase with the seller listings we talked about first. The seller listing, you are at the forefront of pricing. Pricing is everything. If you overprice a house, it's not going to sell no matter how much you market it, no matter how much you push it, no matter how much you the houses, it will just sit. I have one right now, which I put it on a price and I said, you know, this is a fraction for Susan. Do I take it or do I not take it? That's always a question you have to ask yourself. I decided to take it. This is a great neighborhood, it's great, a beautiful home. And they decided to do everything on the house I asked them to do, except that you would not get the price we paid. It's still not good. We finally got an offer, but it's contingent on the sale of the lady's house that is purchasing it, and she is not going to get that. So we have a problem, and that is tomorrow. So I have to talk to the other agent today. So pricing is critical. Strategic pricing is really important. Properly marketed seller listings bring you more business. They just will. They will always bring you more business, and it will put money in your pocket faster than anything else. It's really almost a guarantee of money in the bank whenever you get a properly priced listing. The 7-step seller service cycle is number 1 is the lead conversion. So whenever you get a seller lead, the next thing you are going to do is meet with them and go over things with them. Number 2 on here is the pre-listing. So I highly recommend sending out a pre-listing packet. And I don't know when they get into that here. I believe is that the question here? Or no, it's a whole packet. That's who you gotta have that.
We did something yesterday, it's like qualifying the buyer, the seller.
Oh, seller.
Listing question, that's not it.
That's not it. The pre-listing questionnaire is something that you should actually do over the telephone with them prior to meeting with them, so that when you do get already have that information. The actual pre-listing pack, that could be part of the pre-listing, but the pre-listing packet would be something that you would either drop off to them, maybe email it to them, information about you, about you, but not too much. You don't ever want to give them numbers. So whenever you sit down with the seller, sometimes I'll go through a whole seller presentation and not give them a number because I know that they're not going to listen. So when I go through a seller presentation, the first thing I ask them is, so Erica, you know, I go over this questions again, seller questions at the table. Okay. And then we look at their house and I'll ask them, so if we agree on numbers tonight, everything else works, and what year are you willing to go ahead and tonight? And then I cut up. If they say there's absolutely 100% no way that I still give my presentation, but I won't do it first. Okay. So what I'll say to them is, you know, I'd like to set up another meeting with you so that we can go over the accurate numbers. I have some ideas, but I'd really like to go back and finesse those. And then we could set up a Saturday because once you give them the numbers, they usually don't get a second chance because that's what they want. They want the numbers. They just want to know what they can sell their house for. And a lot of times they choose their listing agent by what say numbers wise. And it was somebody I lost at 1.6 million because I said I can sell them. You know, and the guy said that so is the big thing. I said, you know, I tell you here statistically, it could happen 1 out of 1 million, but it's probably not going to happen to the other agent because they can say it's not what they can. Is it's sold for all the sudden something. And sell market for an extended period of time. The good news is that we refer them because he worked for Google News Streets, Frank Washington. We refer them to an agent in Washington, which lost touch with them after they said they were listing someone else who thought we're not even going to do that picture. All of a sudden, it's a self-cloud champion. And it was referrals for Washington. We had never had enough word with them. I was, wow. And that's amazing. So still got something out of it. Shockingly. And a surprise to me and my team, the team member and I went out to the listing appointment. And yeah, she went ahead, she did her thing. So I was mad. So it's not that, but I was salty about it.
Yeah.
So, but Jennifer went ahead and sent the referral and followed up with the agent in Washington, connected them, we got paid. So at least something came out of it.
Yeah.
But in your real estate package, you're going to put like a bio about you, maybe some information about how you market the property. And there will be a whole list you'll have, and I believe it's the next session. I don't think it's a session.
Oh, was it the,
Oh, okay. But anyway, that's your pre-listing. And then when you get to the listing consultation, you're going to be going over what in detail what you're going to do, how you're going to sell your house. You have to be very, very desperate for it. It's pretty competitive out there right now. It's hard for me to get listings from sellers. Servicing and marketing, how you're going to do that, your offers and negotiations, which is critical. This is one of the most important things. If you go to the NAR, and I know that you're that girl, so but if go towards it will report the latest buyer and seller report that they do every single year. It tells you exactly what they're going to do. So whenever you sit down with a buyer or seller, you already got the list of the all the research nationally says, oh yeah, we want a great negotiator. We want to do the same thing. So you can already put it ready because you already know what they're good for. Contract to close is really important. Post-close systems is also important because this is really critical. And that's where I lack the worst. It's where I am. But once you close on a property, if you stay in touch with this database, which they're teaching me to work with here right now, they'll always come back to it. I had a call to find it this year, and they ready to open the daycare center. And he said, you know, some years ago, close in our house. Oh, that was crazy. And
now they're doing it.
now they want to do this is such a key help us sit up. So
Yeah, my perspective has changed. Oh, sure. And practice yours, your SOI. All your business at first. I don't know, I kind of had some discussions about it. Well, because most of the contacts I know where they are, you know, where they are, like in the process of wanting to buy. Most of them are not within the right house and sell the house. So I didn't see them as a group that I would market to, because how can you refer someone to these services that you never? That's how I was looking at it. But over time, I've just been learning different ways to, because like coach never be an advocate for other than the fact that they don't. Because if I'm referring somebody to services, I've received services. So yeah, that has some disabilities.
getting around that now.
Yes.
Yeah, you're I mean, they're typically people that like you already, and they trust you to say that. Right. You seem, I don't know, you seem like you're really trustworthy person. Just the fact that you show up and you're working really hard to, you know, get through all of these classes and learn, that's huge, Erica. You're the only one in here. You know, we have a ton of new agents. You are the one sitting here. That's why I got my money all day long. You showed up the other night. You know, you mostly had your camera on and you participated. That is huge. And I would think just from the little bit that I know of you, that you're really excited about yeah, like that's that happened. Hi, my love. I know what. You guys teach me. Let's talk about sellers. Contracts are so important. Oh, Michelle, I just throw up on contracts all night. I dream about them. Not by choice.
It's in your head
It's in
now.
my head. I can't get rid of it.
It's
Yeah,
not
I
really
have
numbered,
friends
I might say.
contract for one of those TV people. You know, like on Selling Beverly Hills.
Oh, okay.
Selling Beverly Hills. And I know them. Their office, I actually interviewed with them when I was in LA.
Oh, wow.
And I kept saying, Mauricia, I can't get past, I was stuck on the screen. I couldn't get the contract ready. It was such a frustration dream. I just wanted, I woke up like, yeah. And then I went back to sleep and had it continue. Had that happen? It's like, okay, this
funny, like you think
is a sequel.
right, that is funny.
And I said, don't you remember when I interviewed with you and you said you interviewed with us or I would have hired you? And I'm like, well, I chose not to come there. So it was like, everybody was 20 with something, 20,
No,
and fabulous.
You're fabulous.
Uh,
You're fabulous.
I don't. It's just say that. Sorry. I get things. The postcode systems are really important. So we know that 87 to 90% of the people that you work with will work with you again, as long as you say the right way. So because we know that those people are going to be moving between 7 and 10 years, it's a lot. It's a huge commitment to stay in touch with them until they're ready to move the next time. However, if you do stay in touch with them, they will come back to you.
That's what, yeah, that's what I've been learning. It's like there's a lot of opportunity in just staying in contact, staying in relationships. Like just something so simple. It's so simple.
It sounds so simple, right?
I mean, yeah.
And we have simplified it, and it's just so much better because you can put it in there and it will automatically sort plans to your part for you. So it's really critical to do this and definitely stay in touch. So keys to converting your A sellers, respond right away to lead inquiries. Speed to lead is everything. So anytime you get an inquiry, you want to get on that 5 minutes or less. After 5 minutes, results reduced by 8. Yes, it's called gratification, I guess, in these days that we live in, because it is. So it's really critical that we are speed to lead. I hear it all the time. And then another gal that was on stage at and she said it's not only speed to lead, it's speed to appointment. So we can yesterday when I said that so when you meet people in 45 minutes, so speed to appointment. So I jumped my car and I went to the seller. I would have that the seller I would get because it's Legion and I was leaving Legion yesterday. And so I went and I got with him and it's a crack house. It's full of tons of stuff. It's just like, oh, sports stuff. So, well, he's doing all the work. Okay. The owner's taking care of all of that and everything out. And at the same time, you know, it's a house I would take out all together if it's private. So, I went through the house with him, and then the last thing said was, well, are you going to community members? You didn't say numbers. Oh, it's all right. So, what I did that this morning, and just me this morning, like, okay, this is full. Normally you have to keep sent. Right. You don't. It's on it. Now, I don't know the policy because he's a consultant owner. And he really likes that. So then I guess, I don't know, see what happens.
So he has experience.
Yeah, he's fine and selling a lot, which was the good. That's exciting. That is that whole section of the street, 5 houses right there. But They'll sell for what?
What's that?
What's that? Yeah, I can't even tell you what it was. I stuck it in.
Well, no, I'm just surprised they have announcements. Well, anytime I have probably that, yeah. This was a while ago.
Well, hi there.
How are you?
Dollywood today.
I'm here like Dollywood today.
Every day.
No, I try not to. Like ass.
Oh, sorry.
No, it was that. It's not fair. She was pretty.
We teach you that.
Sellers.
I love sellers.
Same thing I said, right? I love them. Hate buyers, love sellers.
But the way I look at it is, well, you own the listings, you own the leads. Number one, it's like you get a lot of calls, run good ads, and then you get hired. Get to list homes, you have 4,000 right now underneath it. That actually go to work for you, to go work and sell a house. And so,
That's not familiar.
and rather than, you know, like, you know, I feel like buyers, workforce industry.
Yeah, we sit back and wait for buyers.
Yeah. So that's what I focus on, but you can see like my team is starting to grow because if you dominate this thing, I have 12 active at the moment, we'll actually get buyers out. But not her, you know, be one of them things that yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, it's long-term rental is, you're allowed to rent it as long as you're. Enjoy. However, has for, for years. From my clients, so they bought it, had it, but they didn't have it for broker. And then he had it gone, he wasn't supposed to. And so they called and they're like, oh, that's not our holiday. And it's not. Wait, it's not. But it's bought it.
Ouch.
And Alex Love is a worker. So like, get those emails then back. So basically, Dan rents it. If they have intentions of doing it after they live there, they should probably apply. That's we had a home buyer stuff.
How'd it go?
We had about 25 people, 15 of that. I can't tell you honestly. I haven't, so I have a girl that's.
Not that anybody else does it. I tell anybody anything.
Did you see the two girls that came to the meeting the other day? So one of them works up with Forest Bank, which is inside Walmart. So what we get done are creating these seminars that are stepping stones to build. So, hey, so we're just educating, and so she promotes it at the bank. She gets, we haven't tapped in, but they have a budget set aside for educating the public on financial literacy and stuff like that. So we're gonna go with it.
Go, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm tired of, I've helped, you know, lots of rich people make more money. I've helped every private equity firm that came to Cincinnati through 2008 to 2013. I made them all lots of money. I'm like, let's make it common. Let's teach them how to do it. It's like, let's build assets instead of like, because if we keep on the path that we're on now, we will know nothing.
You're right about that.
They are. And you
The
think
number
about
one
it,
homeowner in America is
Yeah,
Vanguard,
those-
number two is BlackRock.
I know, and those homes that, you know, like they came into Cincinnati, they absorbed a lot of inventory, which helped us at the time. But nobody was thinking like, oh, that house will never be available to a consumer again. Why would they sell that asset? In fact, they're gonna continue to buy them and make things unaffordable. You know, and make rents cheaper than actually owning it. So people are gonna be like, okay, I'm renting it because I can't afford it. That's the path. I mean,
I don't like it either. I really have well, don't get me started on BlackRock. They are just dirty, nasty people.
They own most of the S&P 500 companies. If you look at BlackRock, Vanguard, they own all the P&G stuff. You know, like that stuff's all, you know, owned by. It's insane. Yeah. Everything is just a mess.
Well, I have a theory on them. I'll share it later. I just don't want to be found playing things down for her.
Is it a conspiracy theory?
No, it's not a conspiracy theory. Maybe. Well, we can turn it into one. How about that? So, but anyway, speed to getting that appointment is really critical. Get valid and completed contact information, give it to command and create an opportunity, save it to command and create an opportunity. Whenever you set an appointment to go work with the seller, always make sure that you're meeting not only with whoever property, but if they have a system, make sure they're there. You're only going to have one chance to get this. And it's like husband or wife, Okay, so Sid and I were working there at the house store. We're like, both of us. Like, it's not. Sid, rock star. So we go into the house to spend hours and we enable the house. And so. And so she said, I never asked. Wow. It is such a that us help her with this here. So I said to her, you know, I am that's our bet. You're holding your hand and bringing stuff. Not because of that. I didn't. And she said, my friend said, really, like, both of you. She would never set up friends. But we never know who that decision maker is. The question is always, is someone else going to help make this decision? And another one was the son of a 90-year-old guy. We went to list his house. The son shows up and says, no, at all. So he was because so things happen. Determine their motivation to sell so you could speak to it. Everyone has a reason that they're moving and the reason they're selling it. Maybe that they want to be close to their grandkids. It could be the fact that the house just big for them to take care of it. The gal that I talked to this morning by the daycare, the little kids, they have to have a house they can actually fit in. Tiny little house. need a bigger house. So people are constantly moving. That motivation is very important to you as the agent more than one of them. Because when you sit down, if you're going to discover this, and I don't know if that's in all my questions yesterday, but if it's not, the question would be, what is your and yeah, so that's an example of one up front of your home. Because when they start giving you objections about, well, you know what, I'm not quite ready to work yet. Oh, Erica, but I thought you wanted to be there. You wanted to be there. Right. We want to have you there. So that motivation, we're going to bring that over. Again, if they're stalling you for any reason, that's really not an objection, it's more of a stall. Yeah. So if they start stalling you, you lose motivation. It's out. So not really for them necessarily to remind them why you're there, why they even called you in the first place. They're there. The goal was to get there by you put that off last Easter. That's fun too. But I'm going to. So determine their motivation. So you can speak to it. Set an appointment time, date for as soon as possible. Answer that request to back it out. Those are all really important things to do. Any questions about this? What sellers want most from their agent? Oh, here. So whenever you go in and you sit down with them, you tell them what you're going to take and make it some part of your value. I'm going to help you price your home competitively and help sellers market their home to potential buyers. Those are the things they really, really want from you. How sellers have time frame, how sellers find ways to fix up their home, and then other things. So whenever we get an NAR, we do need to take one. That's really important. Pricing is number one. So if that's what they're looking for, 27% is not going to their home. So these right here, this one, and this one are the two most important things to them on their list. Now, helping and price competitive, this is the thing you're going to hold back. Here, 5 minutes. Because that's where you're going to sell them. This is where you're going to sell them by saying, this is what I do marketing wise, I'll bring the buyers, interested in the process of what you do. But if you don't get into the specifics here, until you get that last track, sending for you, before, and how I can also that really good analysis, right? So if you look at the numbers tonight and we agree on a price, are you ready for this? We can say no, that it can go into lots of part. Did it do for questions and find out why they're not going to go ahead with that night? If they're asking them, they're going to again, once you give them the numbers, either they're going to list my number or they're just putting you off and just and tell them what it is like their house and you're there for the first time. Here's what I say. So Erica, love your house, it's great. And did ask me for some ideas on how to define it in the market. We've gone from all the lots, right? So what I like is once you get the listing contract signed and then with our transaction together, because I really feel like we work well together. Yeah. So I'd like to come back in the next couple of days and we can go together and identify all the things don't get why? especially with this, because once you give them that information. Yeah. I was going on a cruise to Alaska. Our leg started in Washington. We were, I think, that entire trip or that this for a client. Yeah, and I emailed it to them. Sorry. We weren't gonna list. So I director, and I said, finally, they sent me email. Oh, we're gonna cancel. They're all set up. So we have our certain little tricks. We don't want to give them too early because otherwise, it's almost 11:30. I'm talking not way too much, I think. Okay, good. Okay, so I left my phone in the car.
Some of them probably know what they're doing.
Some of, yeah, a lot. Here's the thing with buyers and sellers these days. They're really savvy. A lot of them know a whole lot more than most real estate agents. You're not going to be that agent. You're going to know more than they are. But a lot of times they'll know more than us. Even like if it's a neighbor, like the neighborhood I went to yesterday, it was Turkey for me. I've never even been there before. I had to stick it in GPS. I still don't know where it was. I couldn't tell you. Um, didn't have any numbers. I had nothing. All I had was me and a business card. So, which I never do. But I did it yesterday because I could. He said 45 minutes. I'm like, it's a listing. Sure, I'll do anything for a listing pretty much. So, but he's very smart, very savvy. He's done it before. He knows what he's doing. Does he need me? Probably, but not for the things that's already in his head. He needs the marketing piece of it. Maybe negotiations. I don't know. We didn't delve into that. But maybe he doesn't like doing it. Maybe that's something that would not be his expertise. I don't know. But they are so smart and so savvy these days. So whenever you go into a for sale by owner, I go in to win it. Always, I wasn't prepared yesterday, and it was not the place to sign. There wasn't even, I didn't even a place to really talk. So, I mean, when I say hoarder, I've had one hoarder worse than that. That was bad. Yeah, it was bad. Stuff and she moved. They've already moved her out. She's gone. There's everything is there. Sofas, TVs, food in the fridge. Nothing. Her glasses. And I said to him, are you sure somebody didn't kidnap her? So I was joking, but everything is here because her glasses are here. I said, that is so weird. Why would she not take her reading glasses? I don't know. I don't, he had talked to her son. Evidently her son works at Procter and Gamble, and she's living in squalor, really. I mean, it wasn't filthy. It was clean. It was just a mess. It wasn't dirty. It didn't smell. I mean, you walk in houses that smell so bad, you have to just get back on board. It wasn't like that. It was just stuff everywhere you looked. There was no place to sit. I had another guy like that. He was a psychiatrist in LA, and if I told you some of his clients, you would go, oh my God. And he was a hoarder. He was the hoarder. And dealing with him was one of the most difficult things I've ever done because we sold his house for $1 million.
So how are you able to get flip the house?
In a perfect world, yes. You just have to look past it because we're not selling the stuff. The stuff is going to be there and it's going to deter people from wanting to even really look at it.
Right.
It's going to attract people like investors who aren't going to pay top dollar for the house. We know that because if I'm buying a house, I don't want to go into a house. I mean, I would because I don't care, but a lot of people would not even look at a house that looked like that.
Right.
So who's going to look at that? Investors, what are they going to pay? not top dollar. They're going to come in and steal it if they can. So those are the kinds of buyers you're going to get for those kinds of homes. But this guy, he was stacks of papers from the 80s, just stacked everywhere. Newspapers, magazines, little red berries on his back stoop that anytime anybody, and I had to be there, we in LA, you go to every showing. If you're the listing agent, unlike here, the listing agents are there for the showings. So he would get to the back door.
You know what? I'm like, okay, 'cause I'm listening to it.
Oh, yes, I know. What, you got landmines? You're gonna blow me up with grenades back there. We'll wait right here. But the buyers would look at me like, what in the world? And the 8 buyers, but I would prepare the agents. I would say, look, this is not a normal showing. So when we get there, just be prepared. This is what's going to happen because we knew. So you're going to build rapport, confidence, and trust with them. And you're going to do that very quickly. That has to happen from that telephone call to the time you get in the door, meet with them, and start talking to them. And hopefully by the end of the appointment, they have enough confidence and trust in you to sign. So 7 close to appointment tactics. I hate the tactics. I'd rather have that as a system or model. So you're going to show the benefits that you have. You're going to take, no, we're not going to do that. Take back close. I don't like that. Negative, positive close, give them what they're looking for, trial close, assumptive close, and tie downs. The ones that I use here are benefits. Give them what they're looking for. I always use that. I do 3 trial closes on every close that go on. And assumptive close I use and tie downs. So some of those I use some some of the ways that you can relationship, your first goal is connecting to build confidence and trust. 6.5 people is one of the next top 13. I work with so the most support doctors. And the thing she always did and the way that she did that helps so much. She doesn't need to want to act that she still does. Because she walks in that door. Because she starts that. I'll say it later. Oh, you know what? I still our friends are blah, 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 blah. This, you know, the way the second thing that she'll go for is something she doesn't know that. One of the guys that I work with along his office. Oh, she had a woman. I went to all say this, right? So anything I can answer for you with them, that's a really, really good thing. Dogs, cats, kids. So that conversation, we've got about 30 seconds to make so I have a whole process to do that. So so this is the Feeling for house. This is really and as a visitor, we talked a little bit about the fourth, seventh week in our age. We've gone past that. So let's wrap it up with this. I would say on the it was to have together the top right like so questions, objections, or your presentation. So every answer a lot of questions. Safety consultation. So if you know the concept is going to be so I'm thinking about someone like I want to be get on the market. So figure out well, whatever your special those are. Long hard brain. So those are an experience a life question.
So your value.
Well, this is your freedom. You're not
You get it there.
my
But if you're going to action,
to them. Email help to them, drop it off to them. So this is going to get kind of fun. Words being like that. So
no,
so as a this is the thing. You are just a buyer or a seller. Here. It's not right.
so that's not necessarily what
Yes. Guys, I said that. Take out this, no, that's not how I spend it. So, yeah, but somebody might, and it may be really effective.
Yeah.
But it's just. And then if this as you talk to seller, goal and connecting is really that might be yourself. And so the best place to find questions. If there's nothing else to say, is we want to talk about culture, and then it takes yes, and bring us close like questions, answers, and fears. And there's so many ways to learn. So if you're asking questions, maybe before would be delving into that really cool. So
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. It's should ask, like, if they're just they're asking for a or
sometimes it's just books, they want to do that. So whenever that, you
say it
oh, see, we love it. Okay. Yeah, that's good. But they get it where
right.
say that small group wasn't that, or
Fire support.
didn't. So, yeah, I just think saying. We want to try to so all right, then I will talk about breaking news. The same was to contact buyers or sellers and their front of me. And there'll be many conversations. The words they say, everybody politician or going to work hard for them. Oh, well, those aren't everything that's accepted. Or that you know, I'll call that. That happened yesterday. We got well, we didn't get all one time. That's about 5 years. Yeah. Okay. Maybe you're only 5 minutes. Yeah. So, but and then don't years. And whenever you're doing
Well, I think, yeah, that's what I was talking. Oh, perfect. Yeah, the limiting beliefs are what, there are like us things. Oh, I don't. But if the evidence, I don't talk to, yes, always. Then that. Once you start getting yes. So, well, so, as it's more of a so, yeah, so we're gonna be Saturday. But I want to get all the way. Do you want so what tell me what you have. Yeah. So you don't need to do it for this. Stellar consultation first. So we just like. And how to listen to this. Was yeah. So we'll say agreement. The whole process. Site, that I said that I printed out old school. Now I upload that signs. So that I can go along with he said yes. Okay. I went out with our stuff. And so so we got here. So then he said, oh,
And I say, Erica. Yeah, and then I'm adjusted. I don't know if they're asking questions. So you guys and then it's like really stall or the value that so when I start getting that, that's not what you put it in had a conversation. It's already
So it's a lot of stuff. It's been like a year ago. So I think, you know.
so So here are so, and again, I don't think that's realistic practice because anything you want to do is. Yeah. So I would think that say, how do I? How do they?
Always the wrong every deal.
So I would feel. A lot of these come up that are going to stress you out. I'm very helpful with some. But. So that's. The selling process. So the process. The one that I have. Line by line. So they have 10 that the process. We're not going to get it in there. That we get a general pricing. So. So probably but that's something that your value comes for the client. Over the time as everything well. One thing doesn't maybe it's in the next you know, but you don't into that. So well to make it. Or that could part of it. More that you are offering them that inside. Everybody can get through it. It's great to have your choices. Definitely happy to list. But that you are your own product. So whenever you're developing, I mean, I like so you know, I or I have to get maybe that I'm probably the city. Like, I know that, but I'm terrible. I'm that, so I guess that you know, I'll do my own. Yeah, but I'm gonna bring my team to what I'm doing. Yeah, it's like if price, don't fear not. Yeah. So those are some of the so those are all about things that and we already know what they want. That's how I work. So whatever. And so whenever you're going in on talking, that value. So if they say, if you have your house, well, our office has sold all the time. And it has. It is good. those. Previous that was our somebody thinks that it's that's kind of what we talked about before. Writer like so deliver the product. About that, critical. Being right. So one is back you're taking yourself. Your hopes. That's gonna be good. This is the way. And I'm telling you that I you will be cheating from goals. I also saw from go on people when I find out that so I work. So I always know that let's say but and stay here so just knowing that going in but I need to know more about until so that stay on time. And a lot of it's like and that's true. Right now, yes, that's right. So yeah, it's like the center together. So you're creating a great builds solid confidence as agent or share the price should you choose to go back to the time about your places and set your expectations on sellers. This is a great worksheet. So I would go price recommendation. Again, that's something that probably going to get it.
So that could be like that.
At this point, you're saying that, oh, that's the biggest, that's the biggest. This is the points again. But there are all the questions around the souls we want to explain.
I think this is it. I don't know.
We'll see.
Okay. Yeah.
Which one? The Kristen Broca pepper 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I think that's it.
That's the third one.
Yeah, I think that's it.
No, I'm
top 20%.
I'm gonna set up for top 20% if that's okay. Okay. Awesome.